Hey guys, this is Starlight Strategist bringing you an episode of Tech Talk. Tech Talk is going to be a little show about overlooked cards that may still have uses and kind of cool combos that people may have overlooked at their first viewing. And so for this episode we have Arachnopod. Now, he's a pretty neat card. I mean, 5 mana seems kind of expensive. It's 4,500, so blocker skirmisher, so there are much better budget blockers out there. But his main use is the Spyweb Signal. Whenever this creature blocks, choose one of your other creatures and untap it. Now, this ability seems pretty cool, but when you really look into its uses, it really starts looking cool. So first let's go back to the 5 cost. Now, 5 cost is very expensive, especially for a blocker with lower power than its cost, but at the same time, 4,500 breaks and can smash some of the, kind of mid-game attackers on the field, breaks some techie cards, and the 5 cost helps it get through Bat Breath Scared Orbital, Bone Blades, Ice Blade, and the 4,500 helps it survive Howitzer. So already, it's actually a fairly survivable blocker in that regards. Now let's go back to Spyweb Signal. So whenever it blocks, you get to untap a creature. Well, that's pretty cool. So the first thing I looked into is, well, if you have 2 on the field, you can infinitely block chump creatures. So basically you can shut down their chumps, really stave off a good rush, and kind of throw off your opponent's battle plan. And forcing your opponent to play differently can kind of force them into bad plays, misplays, and they might be taken off guard by this and make a mistake that really costs them, quite a few creatures or maybe a gameplay. So already that's looking pretty good. Now, the other synergy Spyweb Signal has is it is actually a counter to Lyra. When Lyra comes into the field, she gets to tap 1 creature, and it doesn't untap during your next untap step. Well, if they attack the same turn that Lyra comes into play, you can block with Arachnopod and untap that creature, and Lyra's ability is now nullified. Now, it's kind of a healing effect, kind of throws off that strategy, and that's actually pretty neat and that's really where the tech comes into play. You could play 1 of it just if you're afraid of Lyras or whatever, and the 2 or 3 of if you're afraid of Rush, and that's kind of cool. The other neat thing with Spyweb Signal is by untapping your creatures, they are now not vulnerable to opponents' attacks. So if you have really cheap creatures that may be unblockable or have cool abilities and such, and you don't want them to die that turn, or you're saving them for Evo, you can block, untap them, and now they have to take them out with spells on their following turn, or it kind of throws off their gameplay. So that was Arachnopod. He's a standard rare, pretty easy to get your hands on, might be worth testing around with. And so, let me know what you think of Tech Talk. If you're interested in me reviewing any cards, or you have any cool techs of your own that people may not be talking about, let me know, and if it seems pretty good, I may do a review of it. So guys, rate, comment, subscribe, and have a good one.